spell irony? The idea was to create a video that talks a little bit about some things that you can do to help so that when you're editing, things aren't quite so difficult. And trust me, you will be editing because things happen. For example, my studio is in the basement. I've never built a house, so I didn't realize that all of the plumbing and electrical goes through things in the ceiling above my studio. So if anybody wants to do anything like run the dishwasher or the washer and dryer or, other things that might be in the bathroom, you get this gushing sound of rushing water going through it. Things happen. On occasion, despite the fact that you're the one that wrote your outline, your mouth, your brain, and the camera are all going to come to a screeching halt in complete disagreement. It happens. So that means that on occasion, you might have to do a quick edit. And if you're actually your own editor, a couple of things might come in handy. Number one, have a default at-rest position. Everybody that I know in Toastmasters is probably groaning right now because my default rest position is this. I like to have my hands in front of myself. The default rest position should be what you come to if you think, oh, that was awful. That was dreadful. Oh, no. Instead of letting your mouth and your brain and your everything disconnect, come to your default position. A slight smile is a good idea too. Take a deep breath and start again. Okay? So that's hint number one. A default position. For some people, it's what is referred to as neutral, which is your hands at your sides, your feet about hip width distance apart, and your weight evenly spread so that you can turn in any given direction. My default is based on a little trait of mine. I'm a trifle on the lazy side when it comes to keeping up with certain things like shortening my sleeves. So if I use neutral, hence my default position of having my hands in front of me. And may I please humbly beg the indulgence of every single Toastmaster I know and every single professional speaker I know who at this moment is thinking, oh my God, we really let her get away with that, do we? Other things that can happen are things that are within your control, just not at that moment, okay? Things like your movement isn't quite what you want it to be. You're looking at yourself in your monitor and you're thinking, when did I move and I'm not centered? And you accidentally decide to correct it right there. You don't have to. But if you do that, it throws your train of thought right off the target. And so as a result, that's another invitation for your mouth and your brain to disconnect a little bit. So when you do that, you want to hit your at-rest pose and start from the beginning of the sentence. Don't start in the middle where the flub actually occurred. Start at the beginning of the sentence. That'll give you an easy and quick way to find where you can place your cut. The last hint I'd like to offer is this. Don't worry so much about it. Nobody who's watching your video thinks that you have a multi-million-dollar video crew, editing crew, and production crew behind you. Well, and if they do, honestly, what are they having for breakfast that they're not sharing with us? We're all human, and a lot of us are doing this and learning as we go, and that's terrific. But that's one of the reasons why I wanted to offer this little tutorial. Some of you are going to be doing presentations that you're going to have to record and then send on to somebody else. Some of you are starting to do video lessons, which is, by the way, a great deal of fun. And at the beginning, you're going to think, well, we'll just kind of wing it. And then there's this impulse to try to go a little bit overboard. In my regular studio, I have 2 cameras, 4 lights, a teleprompter, and an overhead mic, and a mixer, and all that kind of stuff. Well, we're moving, so we stripped it down to something more basic. And you know what? I kind of like it. It's a little bit easier. Okay. That being said, there's still a cement wall over there. So I edit in part to get rid of a little bit of that echo. You're going to edit for different reasons. But as I said, these are some things that can help you. Number one, always remember to have an at-rest position, something that you can fall into naturally. And remember to keep just a little bit of a smile on your face while you're doing it so it doesn't look like you're actually afraid you're about to get scolded. You know, called into the principal's office, and any minute now a ruler is going to descend on your knuckles. Do they still do that? Probably not. Number two, if you're going to edit because, well, your mouth, your brain, and your mind all disconnected from each other, then hit your at-rest pose and start from the beginning of the sentence, not from where you flubbed or from where you thought, wait a minute, was that what I meant to say? Okay, so have your at-rest pose. Make sure it includes a smile. Start from the beginning of the sentence. I know, it could be that halfway through the sentence, or even maybe towards the end of the sentence, was actually the part you didn't like and you want to cut out. Yeah, start at the beginning of the sentence anyway. It'll get your momentum going and your rhythm going, and it's a whole lot easier to edit. And last but not least, don't worry so much about it. Everybody knows that you are you. You're doing this because you have a message to deliver, not necessarily because you aspire to being worthy of multi-million-dollar production values. And, you know, even some of the newscasters during the pandemic had to lighten up on some of their production values. After all, some of our weather people were actually televising from their dining rooms, which was perfectly okay. Because sometimes the lighting isn't perfect. Sometimes the sound isn't perfect. What's important is your intent and the importance that your message can deliver for your audience. That's what's important. And as long as your intent is perfect and your message gets across with your whole heart, who cares if every once in a while things flub? I'm not used to wearing high heels anymore. I probably shouldn't have tried that here. I'm KimiKSP. This video was brought to you by the Leadership Driven Project Management Academy. And we like to make sure that every single video, regardless of the topic, offers 3 specific hints that you can use, put into action immediately. If you find this is useful, great. Forward it on to a friend that you think might also find some value in it, or at least find it, not boring. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to having you join us again soon. Take care.